6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hello and welcome back to BYOB Poetry. We are back online due to the second lockdown, but we have an amazing lineup of poets for you tonight. So we're just going to get straight into it. And our first poet for tonight is the beautiful and amazing Hazel.
Hi everyone.
Hi, how are you?
Not bad. How are you?
I am
So
very
I have
good.
to find somewhere to put this.
Some blue stuff.
Nice to see you, sweet.
Hi.
So the stage is yours, Beaut.
Thank you very much. Get my water. So this piece is called 6. Content warning, there is some mention of sort of self-harm and I think themes of suicide as well, but bear with it because it is a really positive story. I am falling, no plunging, no plummeting, no tumbling. I mean, I am leaping into destiny, into a joint being with a woman, no, a queen, a goddess, a part of me who views herself with such a worth and low self-esteem. I see as a mirror image of me, of the self-narrative I lead, the love I need when I cry, the parts of me I deny. I will scream that I love her. I mean, I will scream that I love me. I will learn that to love me is to be free, and there is nothing I need to do or be or achieve to be worthy of the love that I can give her. I mean, there is nothing I need to do or be or achieve to be worthy of the love that I can give me. To accept me. I can accept myself, my mental health. She saved me. I mean, I saved me. I hit rock bottom and I got onto my hands and knees and I crawled till I had healed enough to walk. I walked. I ran. I ran as I worked through every part of me. She is teaching me to love. I am learning to love. I am learning to love myself. I love myself. I will speak this with conviction. I will project this vision. I speak this into the universe, and I am my fucking universe. I pour my soul into verse, take a stand in each stanza as a promise to myself to wake up again. For each day is a new day, and I will keep that in sight as I move through night so dark. I have found that I have yet to find my spark. I have found my spark. She ignites my life. I ignite my life. I love her. I love me. She has shown me my heart was not born heavy, and that is a lesson I am still learning because I am deserving of that in the least. No, I am deserving of that in its entirety. I tasted her. She allowed me to taste her. In her, I found the flavor of change, and what a bitter, sweet taste. I want her deep. I mean, I want me deep. I mean, I want deep inside my broken mind to find answers. I mean, my mind is not broken, and I have found answers to questions I asked when my lips were sewn shut with fear, but I am ready to win this war now. I want to get to know her. I mean, know me. I mean, sorry, 1 second. Abby, Caroline, it's coming through the speaker. I'm so sorry about that.
No, that's okay. That's okay.
Sorry.
You want to pick up where you left off, or?
Yes. I am learning to love myself. I will speak this with conviction. I will project this vision. I speak this into the universe, and I am my fucking universe. I pour my soul into verse, take a stand in each stanza as a promise to myself to wake up again. For each day is a new day, and I will keep that in sight as I move through night so dark. I found that I have yet to find my spark. I have found my spark. She ignites my life. I ignite my life. I love her. I love me. She has shown me my heart was not born heavy, and that is a lesson I am still learning, because I am deserving of that in the least. No, I am deserving of that in its entirety. I tasted her. She allowed me to taste her. In her, I found the flavour of change, and what a bitter, sweet taste. I want her deep. I mean, I want me deep. I mean, I will look deep inside my broken mind to find answers. I mean, my mind is not broken, and I have found answers to questions I asked when my lips were so shut with fear, but I am ready to win this war now. I want to get to know her. No. Me. No, wait, I'm finding me. I swear I'm somewhere in here, lost halfway between circumstance and the choices I made. No, I was shaped by circumstances beyond my control, and in the choices I made, I created this monster. No, I'm not a monster. I just learned how to fight, but fuck, this hurts more than any self-inflicted curse I cast upon my skin I did not deserve. I do not deserve. I deserve to find strength through my self-worth, sense in my senses, desperation in acceptance, to end this or fight. I choose to rewrite. No, retrain that narrative, keep looking to find light pouring into my soul from holes I now see would allow me to feel whole. There is peace in my pieces, and I'm still learning that pieces of me are just waiting to be pieced together when the time is right. Our spark ignited my passion for life, but I continue to fuel my fire. Looks to be guided by lights. My lights, I will discover my lights, guide lights forming guidelines, and I don't have to stick between the lines, but at least now I don't have to wait to find if my mind will lead me horizontally or vertically into sleep to pass away. Instead, I pass through, live new days. I will discover ways to work art into my scars. My scars are my art, my markers of strength. I will let held tears fall where they once tore through my soul, and I will spiritually detoxify the parts of me which determine my lies to be truths. I won't lie to you. I won't lie to myself anymore. I try to transition this narrative into a new scene, make sense of what you see, wait, no sense, and act on what I need. Have dreams. She has dreams. I have dreams. I dream of her gazing through my eyes, discovering her worth. I dream of us making it work. It will work. It won't be work. My happiness will come from me. I will be happy. So let me fall. Let me jump. Let me lead. I will write and rewrite this narrative till I believe it. I believe it. I believe I am deserving of this journey. This journey has no end. It is a work of art. I am a work of art. Even with steps forwards, even with steps backwards, I will look forwards, not down. I am living my life. I am alive. I am alive. Thank you.
Oi.
Sorry about that.
No worries. Like, you definitely made up for it. It was brilliant. It was brilliant.
Oh my God.
Thank you so
Shut
much.
down. Shut down.
Mad.
Amazing.
Thanks, guys.
I have no words, honestly, Hazal. That was amazing. So beautiful.
It was beautiful. It always is when I host you, and luckily I get to host you quite often. So
Yes.
thank you so much for sharing that tonight.
No worries. Thanks, guys.
Okay, cool. So our next open micer tonight is the great Lay Speaks.
Oh wow. Wow, Tim. I was not
Yes,
expecting.
Lay. Yes, Lay. I am coming. Let me just sort out my hair a bit. Can you guys hear me?
We can hear you, but you can't see you.
Yeah, sorry. What's that?
There he is. Yeah. Bro,
Oh.
your hair's beautiful.
Come on, G. Me and my undecisive self, man. I said, really? Okay, cool. I want to let soft spoken decide. Underrated or articulate?
Underrated.
Underrated. All right, cool. Bear with me. I wanna get the words like just in case. I don't need it, but you know the ones where you just wanna have the what's the word? Insurance in it. Bear with me, guys. So sorry about this. They said, what made you call yourself legend? Let me think about that for a second. I'm a son of the sun, born out the nebula, the light to your retina, regulate the regular. Far from common like my soul sister Erica, half medic, half curator, I cure haters, so yeah, I'm a legend. And no, I'm not talking legends that came prima donna. I know prima donna, a Maradona in his prime. I float between an artist and a scholar with each rhyme. First class delivery, but you can't label or box me. See, Floyd would be proud of that punchline. I'll dodge the titles, but I've got money matrix. Flow come flexible like Neo from Matrix. The stage is my temple. I call it my holy field so I can flip the script and ignite a light, then bite the mic. Tyson would be proud of that punchline. And isn't it mad how I'm asking non-believers, what do you mean Big Bang doesn't exist? What do you call the moment I bring the mic to my lips, bringing fire to the stage? I'm an arsonist. I call this my pole vault floors because the bars either go over your head or they're hard to miss. My art is sick. Just pass the spliff and we can all get blown away before class dismissed. I said, I'm so ill that everything around me dies when Lay speaks. Can someone tell me the remedy for a narcissist? Herbal essences. Looking around now, all I see is carcasses. Yo, mad. I defo mad. Can I reload that? Is that all right?
Yeah, start again.
Yeah.
Start again if you want to start again. That's cool.
They said, what made you call yourself legend? Let me think about that for a second. I'm the son of the sun, born out the nebula, light to your retina, regulate the regular. Far from common like my soul sister Erica, half medic, half curator, I cure haters. So yes, I'm a legend. And no, I'm not talking legends that came prima donna. I know prima donna and Maradona in his prime. I float between an artist and a scholar with each rhyme. First class delivery, but you can't label or box me. Floyd would be proud of that punchline. I dodge the titles, but I've got money matrix. Flow come flexible like Neo for Matrix. A stage is my temple. I call it my holy field so I can flip the script and ignite the light, then bite the mic. Tyson would be proud of that punchline. And isn't it ironic how I'm asking non-believers, what do you mean Big Bang doesn't exist? What do you call the moment I bring the mic to my lips, bringing fire to the stage? I'm an arsonist. I call this my pole vault flows because the bars either go over your head or they're hard to miss. My art is sick. Just pass the spliff, then pass the mic, and we can all get blown away before his class dismissed. I said, I spit sick and it's contagious, so anyone who comes after me may have to follow me to see the pharmacist. Herbal essences. Look at now, all I'm seeing is carcasses. There's no remedy for a narcissist. I'm so ill, everything around me dies when Lay speaks. I said, there's no remedy for a narcissist. I thought naming myself Legend would get them to appreciate. Translated it to Layenda, then shortened it to Lay just to abbreviate. Metaphor for how we sell ourselves short when we create passion in these verses. Broski saying, take it easy, Lay. But emotion pours out my pores. I can't pause, not with pressure on me. Sorry if I baffled you. I never meant to deviate, but how many of you would trade places just to alleviate? And while people debate who's got the hardest sound, I'm trying to penetrate to your hearts around. Get my pen to trace, Caesar's carver around. I cut a fragment of my soul and expose myself. You ever cried so much you thought you'll start to drown, then you fake bravado just to master doubt? They laughed at my craft, but I'll die for this. Maybe I'll be the first martyred clown, but if you're talking the hardest, you ain't gotta ask around, just pass the crown. I remember back when my palmers out, fist tense, but my, I remember back when my palm was out, tensed up, but my fist was down, listening to the whispers howl. I'm far from Mr. Wow. Now they say that I'm a gifted child. I rap faster, and every time I post, they act like it's Christmas now. Yeah, they loving my presence. Probably why they all think it's Christmas now, saying, talk about this, and don't forget that, when the truth is I just want to make my sisters proud and get so high I can skip the clouds. And I type to intentionally miss the drop. I remember way back when I was tipped to flop, taught me people love to predict a lot. So to anybody still trying to guess my next move, you must be thicker than my winter socks. You can't shut me out. I'll just pick the locks and kick down doors. Stop waiting for opportunities and hiding from scrutiny. I stripped off on stage. Lyrical nudity, it's not new to me. I called myself an underrated legend. And people said I was copying Kede, because that was his title. And now that's the title. I sound like a beg. Yeah, I get it. And someone made a tune which had me confused, second guessing what it means to be equal. His name was John Legend, but I'm the legend. I guess we're far from ordinary people. I'm just underrated. That could have been so much cleaner. Wow. Yo, thank you.
Pause, though.
Pause.
Yep.
It was dope.
Pause.
Did it, bro?
Oh,
Pause today.
It was dope.
Come on, man. We talking about cleaner, man. That was dope.
Pause.
Love, man.
No,
Respect.
thank you
Thinking if
so
I
much
went
for
to
that,
stop.
Lay Speaks. Like, that was dope. Even though we had to pull it up, like, we resonated with everything you were saying in it. So thank you so much.
Respect. Thank you for that. I'm loving the vibes, man. That was weird going so early. I wasn't expecting that at all. I was like, oh, right. Like,
Next time, just let us know where you want to go and we'll make it work. Do you know what I mean?
good,
Yeah.
I'm good. It gives me
Cool.
what to talk.
Okay, cool. So next poet on the open mic list tonight is Angela. I know I saw you popped up here.
Yes, I'm here.
Hey.
Hi, so good to see you. So good to be back. I know you guys are super sad because of the lockdown and stuff, but I'm all the way from Russia here, and I'm so glad that you could make it happen. So thank you so much for hosting this open mic again.
No worries.
Right. So, yeah, well, here comes my poem, basically. Of course. I'll put on a brave face, don't worry. Being down for too long and drowning in sorrow has never really been a part of my story. Have you discovered yet? Of all of my poems, read, untold, only those that spit my blood turn out to be pure gold. And yes, I keep saying the same names 100 times over, no less. I confess that at times it seems pointless, callous, ruthless. Though they call these pearls priceless, I fear that deep down I only seek to showcase my prowess. But right now I'm feeling so restless, and there's only one way for me to handle this crisis. So I take it from my mind to the paper, from the paper to the stage, to pay my respect and channel my rage. I'm not vindictive, but it does get addictive. Lately, I've resigned to the artificial, put up my ammunition. Forgive me for sullen suspicion, but you won't pass the guards without my permission. So far, it's been beneficial, sort of aided my brittle transition from exhaustion and inanition to acceptance and recognition. Yet I still get phantom pains, walking down the memory lanes, spots and stains, remains of the faces and melodies that my heart contains. Oh, to shake off this sawdust and wash myself clean, to strip off this stove soaked in sweat and the smell of all I've done wrong and said obscene, to live up to the words I speak and learn to forgive myself for not turning the other cheek, though I still feel weak under the weight of my inner judgment and unending critique. Let me put on my coat, pass on my cigarette. I won't out, where I won't see the clocks and can clear my head. I remember the earth, white, the lights bright, pacing the sight, headlight, traffic light, me tongue-tied, you hella uptight and so fucking polite. Run, run, farewell, and good night. I remember the trees black, naked, robbed, saw me walk my way home, new home, as I crumbled and sobbed. Goodness, how did I get through this? Or did I? Can't tell in my exile. Meanwhile, the trees have turned green, brave, bold, pristine, and the change of seasons still rolls outside, if not within. And my worst nightmare realized did leave me some bruises, but in the end, I'm better off with the change of scene. And I still believe that all this time will heal is a total BS. If it does anything to if it does anything apart from rubbing your nose in your stinky clothes, it makes you care less. And I hate to say that I'm the same old me and I probably never learned. And I'd still stay in the sun, no matter how cruel the heat and how much it burned. Cheers.
Yes, you sipping. I like it. I like it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for being there. Thank you for
All the
listening.
way from Russia, you know, we're so happy to have you.
Thank you for having me. Always a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing with us. All right, cool. So moving on, we have the brilliant Revolt Poet. Are you ready?
Can you hear me okay?
Sorry?
Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, I can anyway.
Okay, brilliant. Turn my view back so I don't have to look on my face. Cool. This is the only one of these that I'm going to wear. Anyone who doesn't know me, I'm anti-colonial and anti-imperial. And I think it's about time we had a chat about what remembering actually means. This piece is I Will Not Be Silent. I will not be silenced. I will not bait to violence or intimidation, and I will not say nothing when demanded. For nothing is a greater human shame than the lie that thousands died in my name when they were slaughtered by the power crazed in the name of the game of empire. So here's a little something called perspective. You too might acquire if you so desire to set your sights a little wider and do aspire to the truth. Put simply, they are using you. Quiet and questioning observance like we never knew or e'er thought to use the gift of hindsight. And now though, try as though they might with whatever dirty trick is used to fight my free will, I declare still that this propaganda never should hope to make me pander to the whims of popular opinion. For in my head no corporate interest do hold dominion. Winds have changed. It is now a symbol of the pathetic fallacy of patriotism, symptomatic of the schism of society at large. So study their actions closely, for the remembering have forgot the most important part. Amidst all their flag waving and behaving like national pride wasn't the problem from the start, with clenched fists, pounding breasts, trying in vain to repower broken hearts, leaving the conscious of us asking, how did the whole thing break so far apart? For it is the lost at war that are the truly powerless. So listen close. No, really, close. For this enough I cannot stress. Were German soldiers in any way misled or lied to less? Or can you think of any reason a bullet doesn't penetrate the flesh of German chests? Cheers, guys. Thank you.
I think every time I've heard you, you come with a very heavy political vibe, and I love it. I love it. Thank you so much.
It's not my strong suit, don't worry.
Tell
Thank
him
you
again.
so much.
Tell him again.
All right, cool. So next guy to grace the open mic stage is Tish. Haven't seen you in a long time. You there? He's on mute. Sorry, guys.
How's it going? How's it going? How's it going? How's it going?
My guy.
Hey.
Is that you in your dressing gown? Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah. A bit of soft teal for the evening, you know.
All right, cool. The stage is yours, dude.
Okay. This piece is called The Sorcerer. It's about my journey with shamanic related things. And yeah, thanks for having me on the platform again. It's been ages, man. All right, so it goes like this. The wounded healer finds peace amongst the mad cries, because love is the only feeling behind his sad eyes. In the ghetto, sipping ayahuasca, he met his death with fears and disaster. So he went to face it, to liberate it, and the way in which he did this was truly amazing. There's a potent brew that the shaman was making, and it was worth the 12 hours that took him to make it. Although it only took a moment to take it, the lessons of that medicine forever will stay with him until he hands it down to kin, because after death, he knew that a new life would begin. He understands that he too will perish, but on this earth, he's got a purpose that is worthy of merit, and I guess time was relative, so it took a while to sink in that victory is what this new life is going to bring him, with all these mystic spells and many tales to tell of an ordinary man who realized himself, walking on a path attracted by his heart from a vibration sent far beyond the stars, across time and space and lifetimes alike, just channeling the power for peace in all life. With techniques of ecstasy, the power is mine. You see, the tunnel is illusion, but what's real is the light. So he sought the counsel of his spirit guides, who told him not to fear, but if he does that, he should never hide, because he's a drop inside the ocean with the power of a tide, but he still has to peep where that power resides. It dwells deep within him where infinity lies, so he cut ties with dark vibes emitted from weak minds, strong like the base of a mountain for all time, healing all he can and watching them all rise, for the judge in the courts of eternal equality, whose jury is the soul with the lawyer so heavenly. Demons understand, who swear truth by their right hand, defeated by compassion in the eyes of a grand plan, with the mystic spells and many tales to tell of an ordinary man who realizes himself, walking on a path attracted by his heart from a vibration sent far beyond the stars, across time and space and lifetimes alike, just channeling the power for peace in all life. See, with techniques of ecstasy, the power is mine. You see, the tunnel is illusion, but what's real is the light. Thanks,
Yes,
guys.
Tish. We missed you at our last live show, you know. We're still
Yeah, I
holding
know. Yeah, absolutely.
still.
Definitely, man.
But thank you so much for making the time tonight to share that.
Tish,
Thank
that was
you, man.
beautiful. Like straight
Thank
beautiful.
you.
Bro, your
All
cadence
right.
is incredible,
Hey,
man.
can't wait to see everyone else, man. I'm in.
I know we have one more poet before we go on our 10-minute break. And let me check the lists quick.
The sorcerer.
It is Iwadina. I know she's.
Hi.
Hey, how are you?
Fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. I'm ready to hear you share some poetry tonight. You good?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Go.
So today I'm going to be doing a piece called An Ode to Black. It's very image heavy. So yeah, just listen out. Here lies she, Black queen once free, big-lipped, not quite Kardashian quality hips, hairborn reaching for the sun, yet for that reason she consistently mourned. I see her, tired arms and bowed head drape over a porcelain white bowl bath that holds her. An erratic scourer, decorated with connective tissue and blood vessel, proving its work on every nook of she, like a proud author of an unreleased book, playfully dangles on former nail, now repurposed hook. Handcrafted, deep mahogany skin is now scratched into clumps of epidermis and root-pulled hair follicle that flavor her watery grave with fat. In dull mud brown, she is sat. Like a museum piece titled An Ode to What Really Lies Beneath. Red droplets journey through her, hard to decipher between their trails and what is vain. They form a pool of support beneath her, proving that finally we can really see her. Am I Abraham? I stand horrified. 2 steps forward and a tired, muffled sob sends me back against door. A sacrificial lamb. Why? I crawl towards the image before me. She does not move. She does not see me. Air around thickens and wraps itself around the base of my throat. I plead for an antidote, a moment to intervene, stop the thoughts, time to prevent the crime. My journey ends. Hand reaches to touch her scathed cheek. The remnants of her imprint themselves onto my fingertips, find hiding place in my nails. Like an addict falling back into another high, she leans into me. I lift her face and see me. She is me. I have finally scrubbed myself clean. All the bad brown is washed away and I am left pure, white, colonized to the core. They can never say anymore. The weight of this existence became too much. All I asked for was time, space to just be me, unapologetic brown-skinned female, truly free. The image you see now has always laid beneath. So, I just couldn't take it anymore. You injected eyes that seared targets on my skin, transported me into dark rooms, sleepless nights, anxiety rife, so my waterlogged heart leaks, blurs my sight. You brandished my black skin as unacceptable, not mainstream. You begged me to be pure, sent your guards to find me in my sleep, and when the black in me would not be washed away, they shot bullets which spread shockwaves that were felt internationally. You pushed me into rooms under the ruse of a diversity and inclusion guide, only for you to explain why I was the black hole that sucked away the light from white. You stuck pages and pages of pleas down me, asking me to teach you the way to allow people like me to just be. But every single point was just disputed and explained away. You rounded me up, stopped me, unable to believe the black didn't make me bad, searched me, used your superpowers to knee on my neck while simultaneously shouting at me to just fucking breathe. You waited for this day. It was always my fate. You made my bed with sheets woven with a 400 thread count of genocide. Pumped my pillows with feathers, doused in slavery, laid me down, gave me water that when I drank, made me heave and spit out burned skulls, gouged eyes, handless fingers, to be found in bile-coated clumps in my hands. You cried for this. You cried for me. So here lies she, skin raw, bloody but pure, white. Finally, free of this fight. Thank you.
Girl, Ewa. Am I pronouncing your name right? Sorry.
No,
Crazy.
That was powerful, babe. It was amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Thanks so much, guys.
Yeah, that was amazing.
That was
Incredible.
a journey. That was a journey.
I felt every bit of that.
Oh
Every
my.
bit I felt that.
That wasn't even a poem. That was a TED talk.
Yeah. You know, like that. It hit different.
It hit different. Different.
That hit all the parts, bro.
Different.
Definitely.
Different.
Nah. Thank you so much, Ewa, for sharing that tonight. Like it did hit different. It was powerful. It was beautiful. We all agree. It was amazing.
Thank you, thank you. Can I just say as well, everyone has been like so great. The talent in this talk, the ones that we've heard, and I'm sure the ones that we're yet to hear, like it's really, really inspiring.
That's what BYOB is about, you know, both established and new coming poets. You know, we're happy to hear you share, and that's how we meet amazing people like you. So again, thank you so much for sharing that. It was brilliant.
I want to hear more.
Sorry guys, I said it was a break before, but it's not. So we have our headliner who's going to be dropping a couple poems live tonight because we're having some technical difficulties. And it is the amazing Neelofer. I love her.
What? Come
I can't
on.
wait for you to see what she has
Come on,
in store
Neelofer.
tonight.
Queen.
Hello.
Yes,
It's so amazing to share this space with all of you. Like, you know how much I love BYOB as a platform, and everyone in here is amazingly talented. So it's an absolute honor to be headlining tonight. Of course, disappointed that it's not live in the flesh at the venue, but you know, we have to make the best of it, and we do what we do, we move. So the first piece I'm going to drop for you, can you hear me okay, first of all?
Yeah, you sound perfect to me, girl.
Sound good.
Okay, all right. So the first piece that I'm going to drop for you is called Poetic Prayer. Bismillahir-Rahmanir-Rahim, la ilaha illallah, Muhammadur Rasulullah. Poetry is to unplug from the rumination of thoughts unwanted, because everyone looks to see, but not everyone can see visions. Poets have visions, and poets can transfer those visions to others because they have the fortitude to hold them. Like the Nyabingi drummers, heartbeats are felt deeper. Truth is like roots music, it sings the struggles of the soul. Poetic connections are spiritual like the Qawwali singers of old. Poetry is a means to manifest joy and opportunity. Like plugging yourself out of the grid for a while, refill your jam jar so you can once again smile. Bank account empty, but soul rich beyond belief. Truly wealthy is being virtue of being healthy. Overdraft facilities supported by talent and much heart. Mind fuck so good I had you asking for more. Like everything else, sex is communication. Sex is a conversation. Two bodies talking, two souls connecting. But nowadays, it seems that love has been put in the back pockets of those who turn sex into a business. Turn the pages, like Socrates' philosophies, Rumi's mysticism of seas, pens burning with desires and ambition, setting paper alight like fireflies in the night. See, we elevating, we moving, we healing, inspiring, uplifting, like accessing hidden job markets, reading in between the lines. Fame is not talent. Far too many talented people not famous, but being famous for being famous is the new target, like influencing bullshit. You can create a YouTube channel, but what are you really channeling? What are you doing to change your internal programming? Is your energy pure and righteous, surrounding yourself with love, honesty, and kindness? Do you believe in truth and rights, or is it all tied up in the copyright? See, the quality of being a creator depends on the type of consumer you are. They say great things are achieved outside of comfort zones, but that could be trick knowledge. See, to be truly comfortable, you have to own who you are, no matter what that looks like. So now ask yourself, how comfortable do you feel when you study your own reflection in the mirror? Like, the women of the Moors, the Maroons, and the Carib, brown-skinned queens of kingdoms and empires, our foremothers, were the keepers of the forefathers that we tend to speak more of. See, women always get forgotten in history. Far more accurate is her story. Poetic lenses for rose-tinted frames, because, see, I would give everything I own if love was the key. See, Wu-Tang said it, love is the highest elevation of understanding, and the reward for endurance is victory. The formula for success is consistency. So by the rivers of Babylon, may the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be accepted, truly gifted, like Banksy's graffiti popping up on random city walls. More than imagery, it's always art with a message. We are God's people. So we are gods, which means you should see yourself as the Most High, treating others in the highest of ways. So let us pray through poetry, poetic prayer for ourselves, for others, for better days. Pray for truths to be uncovered. Don't hide from them. Keep our pens and paper as our most effective weapons against governments who tell us to retrain because creativity doesn't pay the bills. Whose bills are we paying anyway? For MPs' lunch expenses on taxpayers' money, but they refuse to offer an underprivileged children free school meals? The reason they seek to destroy our creativity and quiet our voices is because creativity breeds free thinking. And free thinkers have free minds, minds that refuse to be brainwashed and imprisoned. So of course, they don't want you to emancipate yourself from mental slavery. Poetry unplugs us from conditioned systems based on ownership and control by politicians who are nothing more than entitled thieves. Thieves of the truth, believing in their entitlement to conceal it. See, when we allow our souls to speak directly into these mics, into these cameras, straight into the souls of the ears listening, we sing our freedom songs. So I'm saying to you, keep writing, keep rhyming, keep singing, keep believing, because poetry is freedom. Poetry is freedom. Say it with me. Poetry is freedom. Poetry is freedom. And that's that piece.
Come on.
Oh, you blew us away on the first piece. Like, you didn't even wait.
Messing about. Come on.
Come on. Tell
Yours
them
was freaking
Poetry
insane.
is freedom.
Listen, they didn't hear you at the back.
Man, have mercy on us, mere mortal, please.
Appreciate
Like,
it,
you
guys.
truly just
Our
did that.
headliner.
You
This is
truly just did
exactly
that.
why she's our headliner. Neelofer, you are amazing.
Wow.
Thank you, thank
Wow.
you, thank you.
You are amazing. Listen, when you're ready to get into your second poem, the stage is yours.
Okay, so this second piece, this is called Learning. Now, guys, my stuff is heavy coming at you, like, do you know what I mean? So it's a lot to take in. So I just want you to really resonate with the words, hopefully. And this is why it's an honor to be a headliner, so that I can really share with you more than one piece. So thank you. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your ears. Thank you for listening. All right, so this piece is called Learning. Learning. When did we learn to identify ourselves and each other by colour? The problem is we haven't evolved far enough if we don't see past the faces of our mothers. See, ancestry DNA tells you that you're made up of various geographical locations and maybe a few different continents. It will even give you the percentages, break down the levels, more like another way of tracking and tracing fundamentals. See, rather than really enlightening or teaching, never does it mention the descriptions of black, white, or brown, because the truth is, there is no descriptors of black, white, or brown. There are too many combinations in between, because they determine all of this from a swab of your saliva. So I just continue spitting truth until there's nothing left. That's because we were never meant to be identified by colour or hues and shades of our skin. When you're asked where you're from, you usually respond with your area, not which shade of the colour spectrum you're on. Since when did the amount of melanin I have tell you exactly who I am? Judgments from the outside in. You couldn't even imagine my ancestry and kin. Honestly, it doesn't really matter, and yet it seems that it's the thing that matters the most. Does your tribe, your clan, the land of your elders determine your worth? Since I last checked, there is no country called black, no city called South Asian. There are white houses and white picket fences, but there is no white place that I call home. Which languages do you speak? Which God do you worship? Which culture do you follow? And when will we learn that we are more than the sum of our parts? See, I have Pakistani blood with some Kashmiri and Nairobi maps thrown in, a British passport, a South London accent, a degree from LSE. I was an Afro baby. I love Japanese food and nod my head to hip hop beats. The language I speak is English and Urdu, translated by my mother tongue of poetry. So who does that make me? Does my particular shade of brown reveal my crown? I am thankful for my melanin, for my golden skin and my curly black hair, big brown eyes that see and full Cupid bow lips, a voice box, my weapon of truth, full of gratitude for the natural rhythm and poetry of my mother tongue, raised with principles and love, the music in my walk, the spices in my blood, stories of strong heritage in every blink, the wisdom of greats in the way I think. And I can promise you that nothing to do with color will indicate my level of intelligence or eloquence. It doesn't determine my cadence. It's only evidence that I could be from anywhere. Because I've been to the edges and back again, seen people from all the places, and I didn't see color in any of their faces because instead I was looking for humanity in their eyes. These color divides and caste systems are all dirty lies, and if they can't fit you into a box, then it's harder for them to sell you the postage and packaging, right? So when did we learn this? We learnt this from birth, because the systems that taught us existed long before us, the same ones that indoctrinated our parents. The system is set up to label us, fail us, break us, and most of all, control us. And they will continue to exist long after us, unless we break them wide open. And identifying them is not enough, so we have to be the change makers and knowledge exchangers. Without letting colours divide us, come together to bring the change and be the change. And we won't know how to change things unless we learn. And those of us that learn have to share, because each one teach one, and that's how we become stronger. By communicating, empowering and uplifting, not criticising and dividing. It's the love and solidarity we should be duplicating through the young kings and queens that we are raising. Let's end the divide and conquer movement once and for all, because we move differently. Yeah, we live, we move. Unity is strength and knowledge is depth, but it all really feels like no matter how hard we protest, it's not enough. No matter how loud we shout, it's not enough. And it's never enough for us to just be ordinary, for we were meant to be extraordinary. But when will we learn that we already are? When will we truly learn to be unapologetically ourselves and own exactly who we are, to harness our energies manifested in the genesis of our very creation? See, learning is growth. And we don't grow very far when we refuse to learn or think we reach the point we know it all. If you're not learning till your last breath, then you're missing the point. There is no button to reply all. Learning curves don't end, they just come back around like a cassette tape on loop. The pause button only works for a while, and eventually the cracks appear behind all those fake smiles. So with our pain, with our struggle, our truth exposed and free, we finally learn we have the right to be in this space and all four corners. I am no colour, I am my mother's daughter, and I've learned so many lessons and learn new ones every day. See, living is learning, and to learn is to live. Come we learn, come we grow, come we paint the sky, plant some seeds, and the fruits of our labour will drop leaves like learning for our future selves. We learn that we are more than enough, better than the best. We have always been and always will be and continue to pass any test. I've learned that to play, you've got to play with the best. I've learned I'm prepared to go further than the rest, and I've learned that when I share my words, it's always more and never less. Learn with me, move with me, change with me. We learn. That's that piece.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes.
Oh my
Amazing,
God.
amazing.
Learn.
Wow.
Again and again and again.
Neelofer, like, give us a
Relentless.
little brief, of what inspired those poems just before we go on our little 10-minute break, because you are our headliner and you're literally shutting it down right now.
Thank you. I mean, those pieces in general, if I talk more widely on what inspires me, for me, poets are artists, wordsmiths. We can be introspective. Poetry can help us with our mental health. But very often we are socially attentive. We're innovators. We bring change with our words. And that for me is why I love poetry so much. My inspiration can come from anything from a book, a movie, music that I'm listening to, politics, social justice, social media, people, dialogue, relationships, love. As poets, we absorb everything and then we translate that through the language of poetry. That's what we do. So when I'm ruminating on something, when I'm thinking on something, and then the words come to me, in the way that they do. And what I love about poetry is so much, as we've seen tonight, there is no right and wrong. There is no good delivery and bad delivery. There is just so much variety, and everyone can bring their own individual style to it. And that's what I love. That's why I will always and forever champion poetry and spoken word, because it's not rap, it's not anything else, it's poetry. And we're starting to learn to absolutely appreciate spoken word and poetry for what it is. We've now got platforms like this and many more where we've got a poetry community that's thriving and strong. And I have so much love in my heart for that, because, you know, it's like George Orwell tried to do with the likes of Animal Farm, right? We've fused political purpose and artistic purpose into one whole. This is what we're doing. We're talking change. We're bringing about change. We're manifesting change. We are talking the truth. And that's what poets do through creativity. I hope that answers your question.
It really does. It more than answers my question. And I'm sure that everyone here right now can resonate that that's how we feel. Poetry is what we make it. All of us have our different styles, our different flows, but the message is the same. Whatever message we are trying to relay to you, that is the message, and it's how you want to interpret it. So
this is why we do it, yeah. This is why we do it.
Yep, absolutely. And you know, if I was going to say to any poet, established or new on the scene, like I've had conversations with many of the poetry family, but one thing I'll say is when I write, I don't write for an audience. I never have. I write from the heart. I write with purity and passion. And if my words resonate, that's a gift. But I will never write for an audience. That's me. So
you have to do it for yourself.
Yeah.
It starts with yourself. Do you know what I mean? For you to even pick up a pen and a paper and, you know, let the words flow, it starts with yourself. So you need to keep doing it for yourself. And whoever it resonates with, as you said, it's a gift. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Completely. And I think it's important to say, again, I want to big up BYOB for being one of those platforms that supports up and coming, that supports brand newbies on the stage, you know, invites them on open mics, give them the opportunity, because sometimes I have to say this, the spoken word scene can become very cliquey and very competitive. Yeah. And that is why I took myself out of slam poetry, because I don't believe in that element of competition. We need to revive the pure love of poetry and the word. Yeah. And that is what platforms like this do. And that is why I'm absolutely honored to be headlining on this platform in particular, because we need to support each other, especially now, especially in these times where there is all these things around us and society and community is saying, you know what, they're trying to discourage us from being creative. Creativity is our power and creativity is our truth. So those are the facts right there.
It's true. And this is why I had to get you to headline this show, because not only do you deserve it because you're an amazing poet, but at the same time, it's about giving everyone the spotlight. There's so much undercover talent out there that does not get the spotlight, and whatever we can do to bring that talent to the surface, we will do. So thank you so much for headlining tonight.
100.
You were amazing, and we can't wait to see you at the end of the show as well.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Cool, guys. So now we will be on a 10-minute break. So I guess I'll see you here at 9:05.
Let's go. No.
Yo, freaking hell, baby, but I never felt this before. Like somebody tore out my heart and threw it down on the floor. I dangle and fall. We were entangled before. Now there's emptiness in my chest. I can't stand or ignore. Kept awake in the dark, thinking candlelit force. A couple tears on my pillow, regret and remorse. We met and we paused, but that time in between was like a dreaming. You was my angel, babe, I mean it. I'm feeling, I need to cure my demons, I was succeeding. I can't believe we parted company with you leaving. And you believing I was capable of cheating after reading that text. That freaking text was misleading and it's not really. No excuse or an alibi. I can't explain, I was way more than satisfied. You made all those sacrifices. When your mum and dad was uncompromising, you stayed and that was priceless. They hated all my vices. Plus the fact that I'd been wild in my past and I'm ashamed of that. Matter of fact, karma came around, broke my heart and freaking paid me back. I hated that. Revenge had an arrow, pulled the bow and it was aiming at me. I'm aching actually, and most of all it's cut me up and that's what's made me angry. but it ain't about me. No, it ain't about me. I sacrificed my lioness for nothing, now she's gone without me.
I'm tired of trying to find your demons. I realize that I just need some time on my own. I just need some time.
Seems like only me and you could sleep in cars overnight, regardless of plush hotels, but the part that was right, that was for half of my life. I've been waiting for my best friend, we took off and just glided, and times were the best when we danced where the tide is, wave after wave and always lifting. Now day after day we're just drifting, slowly I almost fell back into being the old me, spiteful on the phone playing the victim like you owed me, and I can only blame myself, can't blame it on the alcohol, head spinning round thinking how can I live without you though, if part of me was poison, all of you was antidote, I knew you was avoiding me cause all I heard was answer phone. Hello? It's heartbreaking, cause half of you is beautiful, the other half's amazing, and it's hard to explain how much I miss you when it's raining. We used to stay in, making plans towards the same thing, dreaming, eating ice cream, thinking of the nice things we'd do before I went and effed it up and you turned ice cream. From a princess, I fully felt blessed when we first met. You came to my house and fell asleep on my chest. You and me are silhouettes, my heart coloured in red. I said I love you 54 times 1,000,000%, and things were brilliant then. I'd never felt so intense. Now we talk, but I can't handle being just friends.
I'm tired of trying to find your demons. I realize that I just need some time on my own. I just need some time on my own.
You just been listening to the sounds of Mr. Malize, Time on My Own.
How many times have I
And now Mr. Malize again, quick trip to
that
a club
inhibits the
trip.
deepest of my desires. Clutched in one hand on a Tuesday when I said I'm not touching the brandy. E&J from the co-op, but you know what? At least I can negotiate the price. 19.99 might be slightly fine, but I reassure myself on a school night that I don't do this every time. It's crazy it is. Is £15 enough to pay the babysitters? Especially when I might be coming back in the twilight hours thinking, God knows who this is. And I've clocked my phone is missing. Anyway, between wandering around Camden and getting off at King's Cross, I lost my best friend, but she must have pissed me off. I think I'm fucked off. That kebab tasted off and I feel like dozing off with a nice cup of coffee. But I'm not gonna stop, see? Nah, not me. I know tonight's been costly, but I'm not about to log into my online banking. I'm kind of recollecting that it's been rinsed out. No doubt my credit card's been maxed out, but I'm out and about, shouting out that one day I'll be a millionaire like Rodney. I wonder if she got the night bus. I wonder if she comes back with a bunch of friends telling us they'll buy Copperberg, Ciroc and wine for us. It's amazing what a line does. A kitchen full of strangers acting like best friends and chewing their jaws off. Talking about how Ford on the horns had the crowd jumping like jumping Jack Frost. And DT told me 3 times he was loving it. Coliseum reunion with a live percussionist, some drums and a sick saxophonist. And MC Creed said, "We're doing it again." From what seemed to be the back of his esophagus. We're all storytellers. Every single one of us are city dwellers, wannabe Rockefellers in a playground of swings and roundabouts. Too late now to think about who she brings around the house. I realized that when the sun was coming out and the kids were coming down. I'll have to try to pretend to be sober for an hour. Leaned over for some power. Just before the door opened and I saw my eldest son. Went from a quick trip to a guilt trip. Asked him to make the littlest some breakfast, and if he did, I'll give him a tenner to make up for it. Trying to avoid eye contact at the same time as making sure my eyes weren't rolled back, but I know that he sighed and then side-eyed me for a fact. It kinda put a downer on the after party, but I'm smashed. Fair play though, he got on ready and I sent them all to school in a taxi. I'm just glad the youngest 2 never saw me. Should've maybe paid the babysitter a bit more money to stay with me. But I think she was pissed cause I made her late for uni. But anyway, Now I sorted the kids out, in inverted commas. I swagger back into the kitchen feeling like the Joker in the circus. Like I've had a hit of dopamine for certain, until some loons started opening the curtains. I feel bad now when my throat is really hurting, but I'm hoping for diversion from any sense of reality. Feels like I've spent half my freaking salary. One of them said they like Amy, so I asked them to play Valerie. And I can't work out if my conscience is crazy or if it's mad at me. But half the room's on Mandy, dancing and balancing. Silhouettes with big eyes, celebrating the sunrise. I think my bestie went upstairs with some guy. Sometimes I think she's the geezer, cause that's not what I meant when I said come back to mine for an ease up. But anyway, I joke to myself, he's had so much coke to himself that I doubt he'll get a hard on, as I contemplate opening the double doors that lead out into the garden. Cause it's too claustrophobic in here and everybody's talking a lot. But I like the way all of us contributed to the alcohol that we bought in the shop. Put a Super D mix on. I said to one of the lads who offered me a key, and his mate said, who'd you get this from? Just as that house tune came on.
You are listening to the sounds of Mr. Melize, Quick Trip to a Guilt Trip. Coming up next, Mr. Melize, Together We Rise. And we'll be back in 3 minutes. So at the end of the next song, Together We Rise. This is the break for BYOB Poetry. We'll be back with Tannika hosting the open mic with the headliner, Neelofer Nova.
I'm seeing people marching and releasing karma on the corruption that devours the police departments. Waving placards and paperboard signs, faces traumatized, but together we rise. Fed up of these lies, fed up of brutality. I've got a solid force with me though, John Boyega and Asher D. And actually, my kings and queens hold hands with me. We were on our knees for 8 minutes. Now everybody stand with me. Stand up for Stephen Lawrence. What happened to Mark Duggan? Justice for our American sisters and our brothers. We can't just stand by when they are killing our cousins. When George Floyd is on the floor, calling for his mother. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. And I can't believe you couldn't see his nose bleeding. Disgraced Officer Chauvin, why didn't you get off of him? And to the other overseers watching him coughing and choking. You're blocking up his airways. You're blocking up his airways. 46 is too young to be walking heaven's stairways. What will his mother say? Son, I weren't expecting you. God said I had to stay. I should have been protecting you. To every single mum who lost a son, I will say this. Every single one of us will wipe away your tears. Let's reclaim humanity and embrace togetherness. When we leave here today, I'll ask you all to remember this. We can do it peacefully and show them what protesting is. Everybody gathered here, show love to the person next to them. And tell our children they don't fit the description. They're not second-class citizens. They were born to be champions. So tell them they're talented, beautiful and handsome. And if they put their mind to it, they can literally do anything. From today, overstand. They would never be undervalued. And when they say, oi, black boy, tell them to say thank you. Enough is enough. It's been the same for too long. Rest in power, Eric Garner, Michael Brown and Trayvon. Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor. Will the Louisville police tell us more about her murder? Shot down in a hail of 8 bullets is disgusting. They were looking for a suspect who was already in custody. Hold up your hands if you're with me. Somebody shout justice. Hold up your hands if you're with me. Somebody shout justice. Hold up your hands if you're with me. Somebody shout justice. Everybody after 3. 1, 2, 3. It's not just us, so make a fist and touch the sky. And it's alright to cry, you don't have to keep it inside. We're living in trying times, no one said it was easy. Coronavirus and racism are like global diseases. But I just know when I'm speaking, if we unify we can beat this. Until they respect the civil rights of our people. Not all whites are racist, not all blacks are criminals. Not all cops are bad, the scales need to be equal. No, wait, hold on a minute. No if, buts or maybes. If we don't work this out, who will explain this to our babies? To the ones who were prejudiced without saying it to our faces. This is a physical representation of the pain we've been facing. To the people who fought for us, to the names I didn't mention. Your legacy is close to my chest like a pendant. It's our responsibility to honor our descendants. No more not guilties for vigilante defendants.
You are listening to the sounds of Mr. Melize, Together We Rise. This is BYOB Poetry, online open mic number 10, hosted by Tannika Taylor and headlined by Neelofer. Now back to our regularly scheduled program. Thank you.
Hello guys, we are back. We are back. Are my poets here?
We're here.
Just waiting for a couple people to come back. So my poets here, yeah? You guys here? We're starting the second round of the show tonight.
Yeah, I'm here.
Give you guys one more minute to get settled. What are you sipping on there, Brooklyn? What are you sipping on there?
Apple juice.
Oh, that's dead.
Ro had caught me earlier.
Is it?
Yeah. School night, innit? So yeah. I had to put it in a glass because I didn't want to look like a bad breed.
All right, cool. So we're going to get back to the night. We have the amazing Neelofer finishing off the night tonight. We have another lineup of great poets, and I will drop a poem at the end of the show for you guys. Okay, so we ready? Everyone ready? Cool. So the next poet tonight is the amazing Rowan Samuels. He already knows how I feel about him. You lot, if you've seen him perform already, you already know. So I'm just going to let you take the stage and do you.
Thank you. I just want to say the first half, oh my God. It's like I'm all in my bag of emotions and feelings right now. So I'm gonna do a piece called Shape Yourself. And yeah, that's really all I have to say on this one. We live in a society where we know the media's views more than we know ourselves. So when you pin your opinions, ask yourself, what shape are you? I felt like a square running in society's circles, knowing that my shape never matched society's edges, and my mind lay horizontal to the sunset, therefore this sun never set. But when it was my time for growth, I knew that my mind had to change. Stop thinking horizontally and start thinking vertically. That's the way to climb ladders. Expand my mind past my limitations, because staying in my lane is detrimental to my mental. It means you're boxed in. Don't get rooted to the square. Embrace all of it. Try angles. I'm not obtuse in the fact I'm making my own way. You were never acutely short of me. I picked the right angle. Started to look at my own value. It wasn't just my physical, it was also my mental. To try to understand if I was in shape. Am I regular or irregular? Am I society's visual or individual? So that square that I thought I was decided to stretch out and become rectangular. I stopped leaning on life like a rhombus and became robust, because I knew if I didn't understand myself, I couldn't understand anybody else. I knew that if I didn't know my own worth, I would always be shortchanged. So the ladder I elevated and decided to climb on was built out of self-worth. My esteem steamrollers over cynical critics who claim I'm high as a kite when I touch the sky to catch diamonds. But no, I'm only human. I'm not royalty. Crowns don't need to exist. Only Jay-Z and Kanye watch the throne, my scepter gone, because I've shaped myself around humility and equality. All my sides are balanced. I can't even see vertices out of my corneas. No status can describe my stature, because the shape I'm in has no name. It's individual to the person. So when you look in my heart to find stars, what do you hope to seek? Oval all. The spherical's hysterical. I'm not even well-rounded, and there are so many slices around my hemisphere that I'm half of what you think. Yet I keep going, and I keep pushing, and I'm not gonna stop now. I'm not going back to the horizon, because these days they call it flatlined. I'm climbing out of the cube. I was thinking outside of the box to trap easy. That's when they throw you into that prison. So the shape of you that you're sharing is only shaped by you. Life may carve crooked boulders into spheres, but it's your internal that allows you not to be hollow. Feel frequencies with others to create parallel lines with interwoven paths. My brain cells will never be brain celled. My body is adjacent to the way my mind speaks. So sometimes I have to sit within the shape I created to Rubik shuffle a way that has me adapting to the shape I want to be. My history may lay dormant in the pyramids or redefine with my DNA, but if I don't heal the helix that created the shape of this body and mind, then I only have myself to blame when my negative opinions start to play Tetris. You see, people may help you when they see the shape you're in, but none are gone. Make sure that you're shaped around progression. You see, that starts with you. So when you decide to the cylinder, you're allowing yourself to put the chips on the table. Forge a structure of shapes that are so secure in its outline that it cannot be budged or toppled. 2D, construct yourself only to build yourself up again. That takes time. You will feel 3D, dependent on what shape you decide to mold yourself, and do it 4D, sake of yourself. Because learning what shape you want to be can contour your life into the formats you dream for. But before you do, just ask yourself, what shape are you? That's me.
What?
Yo!
You did it again.
Yes,
Incredible,
poet.
incredible,
Yes.
man.
Next levels.
Cheers.
Rowan, what can I say?
I
Like,
had to
what
take
can
a
I
little
say?
sip.
I mean, I've hosted you enough for you to know that I'm speechless every single time you perform, because it's amazing. Like,
I've got love
I
for you,
think I
babe.
use the word amazing so much when I'm dealing with poets, but that's what it is. That's what it is. Like the wordplay, the themes, the energy, the flow, the delivery. I mean, thank you so much. Thank you once again for gracing me with your presence.
I appreciate it. Do you know what? Thank you for having me, man. Thank you for, do you know what I mean? Even though they're trying to shut us down in the real world, you're still coming
We're
and bringing
still
us
making it
together.
happen. And it was your
Still
1 year
family.
anniversary as a poet.
Yes.
Yes, big up
Yes.
Rowan for that,
And
please.
you know, I just want to say, I'm dropping a collaboration with my son this week.
Oh
So,
yeah.
yeah, I'm doing that's to mark my 1 year, and just the fact that my son wants to be a poet as well. Me
Well,
and
make
him
sure you get everyone on socials. Make sure you tag
100%.
us in the new things.
100%.
Exclusives. We're always ready for the exclusives
100%. 100%.
with little Rowan.
Yeah, the advert coming soon, isn't it?
You know, like that. Thank you so much again. And
Thank
once
you, B.
again, you were brilliant.
Appreciate it. Appreciate it.
Okay, so the next poet on our open mic list tonight is the amazing Sahar. International. How are you today?
Oh my
Okay.
gosh. Thank you so much for having me. I really actually feel really blessed right now. I've been doing poetry for a few months, like seriously, and I just feel so welcomed and like a part of the community. So thank you so much. Even though I'm not in the UK, I still feel like I'm a part of the community.
You are. You're BYOB family now.
Yeah, I'm so happy. Thank you so much. So anyways, this poem, I don't know what to call it, but it's basically like a compilation of mantras for me and for anyone else who listens to them. So yeah, I hope you guys like it. Let there be an anthem to your life, For every day that you live by it, you break into a smile. Let these anthems change if need be. Let them remind you of the dynamic nature of life. Let this be a reminder that you can always change the one looking in the mirror for the better. Let the oceans between us be the same oceans we dive into when we seek more from ourselves. Let me delve deeper into all the things that I don't understand. When times are tough, let me understand the meaning and all the things. Sorry, one second. When times are tough, let me understand the meaning in everything around me. Let this meaning be clear that when I write, it is in your image. And when I hold up your image, it is because I love you. Let me feel you in all the songs that I sing and hold your memory close to my heart. Don't part from these silent wishes made in the dark. They say so much more than words could ever convey. Let these words be what you need when you don't understand what you need from me. Let this be the only message you take away from me. Know that I only want the best for you. Let it be known that your best is yet to come. Let it be clear that I see you when you feel most unseen. You are always under my wing. Let us fly high and let us surpass the sky. Let our spirit never die. Let us heal ourselves so that we can heal all of life. I'm sorry for the little hiccups. My nose is actually running a bit, so it's like, oh, but yeah, I hope you guys.
No, we loved it. Like, I loved it. Honestly, thank you so much.
Thank you so
Don't worry
much.
about the whole hiccups, sniffles, things. Like, I'm sure I saw everyone clicking with their mute on. So everyone was feeling that. So thank you so much, Sahar.
Thank you so much. Thanks so much for having me.
Okay, cool. So our next poet is the amazing Brooklyn Bennett. You ready, Brooklyn?
Brooklyn.
Where he at?
Back and all.
Come on, bro.
Bro, put the blue tack on and let's go, man.
I love that blue tag thing. That's a joke, man.
Looking for sponsorship over here.
Do you know
Blue
what
tag,
I
get in
mean?
touch.
W.H. Smith and that, come on.
No, Brooklyn's missing at the moment, guys. So we'll come back to him and we'll move on to the amazing Yasmin Williams.
Hey.
Ooh,
how are you, Yasmin?
Yes.
Looking all fine and divine.
All good. Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me. I'm just going to do this piece. It's my newest piece I'll do for you guys. Everyone's been so amazing, so I'm like, oh. But just going to do this one for you now. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. Accept my excuses. Because I was minding my own business, I dismissed this diamond encrusted gold being you are, forever polished and dusted, no scars on the slate you hold before God, perfect quality. Excuse me, my apologies. Because clearly, whatever you do is perfectly executed. You're never persecuted for being in your truth or trying something new, constantly sharp and on point like a blade, which you're very familiar with. I'm afraid you have to pardon me. Excuse me, my apologies. What was I thinking? I guess I should breathe in what you say then. No. Because now when I really start to focus, I notice your hair is actually spiked up and out of place like the troll you are. A whole disregard of any kind of empathy. It's not in your vocabulary, it's an imaginary concept. You forget that you do not walk on water. You don't rise above, you're much shorter. Stained from the filth of your mouth and the fast fingers behind the screen, your eyes are gouged out because you denied seeing the twister you sent to turn someone's life upside down. Thriving from the upset of your victim. Your repetitive persistence makes me think you must find it addicting. To be honest, I have to express myself like this because I wish my confidence would listen. Conflicts in the position I try to hold myself in, like stepping up on the first place block, but never really being able to accept the race, in denial, shock, forever doubting. Impossible mountains to climb in this head of mine to overcome my rocky faults. mockery at my attempt to even take this course. But I feel the vibrations through me as I tap on the screen what's in my mental. It's the insecurity concentrations that threw me in the stream to drown out my potential. But it went quite deep enough, see. I'm smashing the boulder of self-doubt from around my ankles, swimming out from the tangled lies that an antagonist attempt to stifle my phenomenality, my virtuosity. I'm edifying my mental energy so the dancing trolls in my head can no longer get to me. They miss the beats and I no longer have a rhythm in my daily routine. I was an addict to their choreography, so I had to wean myself off and find another vibration to lean and vibe to. This whole time, I've been lied to, lying to myself, creating concepts to stop steps of progress being taken. Nah, I'm now awakened from my insecurity-induced coma. I'm the owner of my train of thoughts and the journey to where it takes me. These toxic thoughts are no longer what makes me. I'm now in tune and inclined to master my true interior design. Thank you.
Yes.
Yes. Tell them again.
Yes, Yasmin. I know I was meant to see you live
Amazing.
at
Thank
the
you.
last BYOB show and we ran out of time. So I am glad to know that I posted you tonight and
thank you so
you were
much.
amazing. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
Tannika,
Yeah?
Brooklyn messaged me on
No,
WhatsApp.
I'm back.
and
I'm
said
back. I'm
his-
back. I'm
his-
back.
Oh, he's back. He said
Sorry.
his phone died.
Okay, Brooklyn. So thank you, Yasmin, for that.
No worries. Thank you. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah,
Brooklyn, do you want to drop
Yeah,
your piece? Like I called you
go on
before,
then.
Yasmin, but you were a
Yeah.
bit
Sorry
missing.
about that. Sorry I missed that as well.
No worries. Stage is yours.
All right. Yeah, so this piece I wrote yesterday. It's not as long as everybody else's. I really feel like I should step up my longitude or something. I don't know what the word is. So yeah, I think this is like tough times, so I'll just go with it. The world has changed. Much that once was is lost, or none of now live to remember it. History became legend, legend became myth, and some things that should never have been forgotten were lost. This is 2020. This isn't Lord of the Rings where humanity has become a myth. Basic human emotions have been lost, numb to social society. Everyone's cold, nowhere to warm up, not even with your family if there's more than 6. This isn't just the effects of COVID, but it's also the effects of what the government did, where businesses have fallen under tyranny, where loved ones have gave up the fight to live. A legend in the game has literally become a legend too soon, the irony. RIP to the ones that couldn't bear to face another day as we get barefaced lied to. Suicide rates are going up. COVID deaths are going down. Businesses were just getting up before they got knocked back down. How can we look up if everything is going down? Who would have thought when the bell rang for the last round, that would have been the last round? Forget about the cookie and milk this year because Santa's not coming around. Step out onto the streets, no laughter, no chitter chatter, no sound. It's becoming a ghost town. Candles and flowers to where the body was found. Balloons filled the sky and brightened up a gloomy day. Gloomy days filled the months ahead. The sun may not break through the grey clouds. So be the sunshine the world needs right now. With a smile behind the mask, raise those cheeks, squint those eyes. Make the most of these government lies. And that was it. So basically, like there was this guy in Birmingham. I don't know him personally, but his name was Josh Foley, and he committed suicide due to whatever he was going through. But I don't think COVID helped.
Was it the football player that used to play for Man City?
No, it was he was like a promoter for Foley events. It's like a big house event in Birmingham and like in Ibiza and everywhere. And I didn't know him personally, but I saw a lot of people like posting him, and I don't think people realize how much they're loved and how much people like valued them. And I think with COVID, it segregates you, don't it? It puts you, isolates you. Well, literally, it's called isolation, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So everything just fell into place when I was writing that. And like I said, I think it was on the Friday or Saturday, they let off all the balloons and just made everything look brighter, if you know what I mean, even in a gloomy day. It shouldn't really be the way, but that's the way life is at the moment. So yeah. So yeah,
Thank
that
you
was it.
so much. Honestly, like I think everyone can agree that it's been a tough time for everyone this year. And for people to be able to write about it and share it, we appreciate it a lot. So thank you so much for that.
All right, no worries. Thank you. Thanks for having me again.
No worries. We love having you every time.
Cheers.
Okay, guys. So before we go back to our headliner, I'm going to drop you a short poem that I wrote not too long ago. It's kind of recent, and it's called Black Star. So I hope you enjoy. My name is Tannika Taylor, by the way. I forgot to introduce myself at the start of the show. But we move. They want us to surrender our anger, yet the average Black man is still perceived as a gangster. When we're still holding feelings nearly 30 years later over our brother Stephen. They couldn't find a reason to brand him unworthy, and ultimately one Black man moved the nation. Reminiscing over the fallen erased from history like the Roland Adams of the world. Worrying about the future and if the day will come when Black kings can walk the streets in peace. I truly believe in no justice, no peace. Because the George Floyds and the Sean Riggs deserve their justice. The families of the fallen deserve their peace. The least of our worries is to make you feel comfortable. We just want to see Breonna Taylor's killers behind bars. And we shouldn't have to write bars to let you know these issues are dear to our hearts, but here we are. We're the star that didn't know how bright we could shine in a world where white is considered divine. But the narrative has changed, and once again we've risen up and now we're considered out of line. I keep telling them this isn't my government. The one that will let kids starve so they can enjoy a pay rise. Keep us isolated from dusk till daylight, but where's the mental health services to keep the mind right? 2020 has been one hell of a fight we're still trying to win. But we're winners. That's what we do. That's all we know. Because through all the darkness, somehow we still find a way to glow. Thank you guys. I'm Tannika Taylor, your host tonight. And next, we have the amazing Neelofer finishing off the night for us.
Hello, hello, hello. Oh my gosh, wow. Pure power, truth, just amazing from everyone, just blown away. So yeah, I got my last two pieces for you for tonight. This piece is called, so basically to put it in context, I am from Southwest London, born and raised. So this piece is called Tooting to Timbuktu, because Tooting is close to my heart. I've grown up in and around Tooting since I was a small baby, and on one of my recent trips, taking my aunt to do some shopping in Tooting, it inspired this piece, because I just saw so much in like the hour or two that I was out in my local area, and I saw things with new eyes, even though I've, for the past over 20 years I've seen this area, but I just saw certain things that sparked this piece. So here we go. Tooting to Timbuktu. Pavements of virtue, seeped in the cracks, all lines drawn to step over and miss, stagnant puddles, all movement and reflections of street lamps, pollution and broken dreams. No shelter, just crisis. No true religions, just stories stripped of their natural bliss. Bricked over windows like forgotten lives, the mosque and the halal butcher directly opposite the church and the pub. How our towns and cities are juxtapositions of existence. Honey mangoes in season, garlic bulbs spilling over their cage, but no rhyme, no reason. 10 different languages spoken over one another, no translations, just traffic and noise. Do you need a bag? Well, that'll be 5p, please. They'll probably rip on the way home anyway. Sweet and savory, you can get it all here. Just find your way through the narrow aisles and translate the foreign labels. One big ethnic aisle splayed on the street corner, not as fresh as it used to be because management changed, but old school faces have now long moved on. These streets I've known for so long keep changing, but stay the same. The same book, different page. No queuing, no, excuse me, please. Just helping out and pushing in. Formalities are for the big brand chains. Here we still weigh the produce and make up the prices, but you always get more for your money. Always useful when you have many mouths to feed, because we have stopped planting our own seeds. Our farming land's taken by power and greed. But your items will be placed in the bag for you without asking. Black seed and amla oils for shiny long hair, tamarind and papaya sauces, black Lipton teas and chai masala mixes, almonds and dals, every spice tone to man, honey and dates from the promised land. Paneer and mustard greens, chilies and aubergines, the colours alone make your heart sing. The tired faces and the forced smiles, masking the silent struggles of many years, the strain of establishing your claim, the rush and flow, the banter in between ordering your marinated fish and half a pound of flesh. Inappropriate jokes not meant to offend, just mismatched lenses, so they have to keep themselves amused somehow. What homes do these men go back to after cutting and slicing all day long? Does the smell of rotting flesh on their hands discuss the sensibilities of their loved ones, or do they just get used to it? How the concept of tailored clothes in Savile Row are only for the rich and the elite, but our tradition of the tailor is entrenched deeply within our culture. We can drape the finest materials and have them made to measure without the pomp and ceremony. Bespoke clothing isn't fake or phony. We chose the prints and the colours, it's just how we roll. Like the rolls of material sold in an Anarkali bazaar, bike lanes, bus lanes, people not staying in their lanes because rules don't apply in this stretch of shops. Brown-owned businesses importing the hope of homelands, guaranteed to find everything you need, planting your faith in a mustard seed. Pound shop treasures, quick kebab roll and samosa, or full-on banquet of waffles and milkshakes. Community charity shops, market stalls and all. The betting shop and the chicken shop both pay the same rent, but now Starbucks and Pret dictate the sentiment. The station is the mouth out of which pours 1,000 souls, coming and going from places on the Northern Line, ticket office closed, all purchased by contactless machines now. Please use the self-checkout aisle. No! I don't want to. It jars me. I hate that people are being replaced with machines. Silks and linens, all beads and embroidery, brightly coloured necklaces with matching bangles. We are still the sultans of majesty. Bitter gourd that cleanses blood, mitai so sweet it makes you forget your relatives are diabetic. Where would we be if our eyes didn't see, if our hands couldn't touch and our noses didn't smell, our ears didn't tune in to the sound of our local high street? Friendships were forged in places like this. I hope we don't lose them all on our way to the supermarket chain that offers 2 hours free parking but no flavour. Much more than a high street, there are still remnants of the Silk Road. Networks of trade routes which connected the East and the West through economic relations are far more complicated now, or are they? Does the West always continue to hold its privilege over its Eastern cousins? I am glad for Darjeeling Express making it into Covent Garden. The Asma Khans of this world are still very much needed. A sign of the times, or simply repeating cycles, gentrification of our areas, trading people who always belonged. For a whitewash of young professionals who can afford the inflated property prices. The familiar is starting to become more distant, with the likes of Woolworths and Mothercare being replaced by TK Maxx and Primark, who can mix CDs. Now we have turkey salami and halal Haribo. The old bingo hall and library now converted into £500,000 apartments. The family-run bakery has long since been replaced by Greggs, back to oranges and lemons instead of exotic fruits like guavas and melons. Don't you know the Arabs brought oranges to Seville? Trying to hold on to our history, to the 5,000 miles of Silk Road that brought lifeblood into the West. Multiple routes that emerged over centuries, connecting more than desert terrain and concrete. From the fertile river valleys to the scanning of barcodes, the spices and the humanity get lost. Nomadic tribes on horseback travelling through Egypt, India and China have now morphed into close encounters of the third kind. As long as it comes in a packet or jar that we fill our kitchen cupboards with, we don't really think about where it comes from or how it's produced. Global footprints and climate change, vegan fashion and plant-based cuisines, have our lives become just like that? too lazy to find out how, why, where, when, just as long as it arrives the next day by 10. Trade routes for fake leather boots. The tariff for travelling merchants comes in the form of immigration laws. So stay in your lanes, in your markets, in your high streets for as long as you can. Soon enough, dystopia is the last stop on the train. Tigris River to the Algerian Sea. I will only stop looking when I don't see faces that look like me. Gujarati, Punjabi, Muslim, Hindu or Sikh, we all coexisted harmoniously before the colonial empires of the West decided partition for we. Silk and trade jaded for horses and cotton. Silk and jade traded for horses and cotton, the lost places of Samarkand and Persia. Instead, we trade paper and coinage for mass-produced substances in big chest freezers. The strands of the Silk Road have frayed too far. This is a poor attempt at an ode to the old Silk Road, reduced to the mundane £3.50 meal deals lacking any taste or any nutrition. We have retained the exchange of commodities, but lost the ability to exchange traditions, innovations, languages, and ideologies. Now we are choosing sides and picking teams. Gunpowder made its way from China to Arabia, making possible the Ottoman, Mughal, and Safavid empires. The closest we can get now is gunpowder branded Chinese tea. Either way, these exchange routes change the world forever, and there is no going back, because we've sold our souls for convenience. When will it be convenient to ask for a receipt? Or rather, would you like fries with that?
What can I say? What can I say? I knew you was going to bring the fire tonight, but girl, you have
So
blown me
good.
away time and time again. And I'm not even from South London, so I can't even relate, but that
South
poem made me
London,
feel like I was
stand
from South still.
Do you know what? Do you know what? The same
South
things happen in
London,
Wembley
stand
Park
up.
as well. You know what? The gentrification's just crazy everywhere, isn't it?
Yeah.
So
It's just when you've
avocado
grown
shops
up,
everywhere.
you've grown up in an area and you see, like, you know, recently it was even in the news that they're finding excuses to shut down all the black and brown owned businesses in like Tooting Market that has now become a trendy place for, you know, the gentrified young white professionals to go and, you know, have a bite to eat or have a drink. But you see, our parents used to go and buy their hard dough bread or their, you know what I mean, the stuff that they couldn't buy in the supermarkets. And it's really sad to see that we're being pushed out every day. So it's trying to hold on to everything that we brought to this country to make it what it is today. You see what I'm saying?
Definitely.
Absolutely.
Facts.
Yeah.
It's like when they try to say that they're gonna close down the shops, the Brixton Market.
Oh,
And they wanted to replace it with like Costa.
Yeah.
Was it-
And the thing is, we don't need more of the big chains. We really don't. Like, we can do without it. We want to support the local businesses and the people that are trying to trade, you know, that are making a living, trying to be entrepreneurs, because again, it's part of a bigger system that doesn't want us to own businesses, that doesn't want us to be entrepreneurs. So all of that was behind that piece. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Honestly, like, I think, again, I've said it before in this show, but we can resonate. I think everyone's area that is in this show today, if you're from the UK, is going through some form of gentrification. Do you know what I mean? I know Northwest, we are experiencing the same thing here. And this is why shows like BYOB is important. Thank you to London, you know, Borough of Culture, supported by Brent. They funded us to keep these kind of shows going on because the underground scene needs to be seen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So listen, thank you so much for just raising awareness about that, but doing it in a way where people can resonate in an artistic way. Do you know what I mean? It's not about politics. It's about being able to spread your message in the way that you want to spread your message. So we appreciate you for headlining tonight. And when you're ready to drop your next piece, we're ready.
All right, so this is the last piece of the evening and it's brand new, only written a few days ago. It's called 2020. Because what a year it's been. Okay. Extra, extra, read all about it. 2020 is almost over, but dystopia is just getting started. Climate change, Brexit, COVID-19, pandemic, Black Lives Matter movement. See, none of these things are random. None of these happen by chance. It's part of a master plan to press the reset button. Extra, extra, read all about it. Creatives must retrain, unemployment insane, but Amazon's profits are through the roof. Funny how during the first lockdown, you couldn't find masks or hand sanitizer for love nor money, but now the shelves are full, only the price has doubled. It's the best magic trick that was ever invented. The illusion of danger so people fear each other. A global pandemic that puts people into isolation, but remember to renew your broadband subscription. Wear a mask, but we won't check if it's medical grade, just so long as your mouth and nose are covered. Is that to save me or dehumanize the human face? Didn't you know that World War III is a term they will never use because we are already in a fight of psychological warfare? Like 2 meters in distance is gonna save me. Like 10 p.m. is magic hour, and as long as you leave by then, you'll be okay. Like Corona has a stopwatch and is getting ready for the chase. Everybody knows it doesn't make sense. Everybody knows that this is nonsense, but we all have to conform because this is the new normal and everyone else is doing it too. 14 days quarantine, self-isolation, track and trace. 1-0 to the powers that be and 0 to the human race. Extra, extra, read all about it. We've all been given the same prognosis. We have several years to live, probably more. Nothing profound when you say it like that, but we're all just ticking time bombs waiting to snap. And any moment could be our last. So if you were told that several years was actually just several days or months, how would you spend your last? Would you fight or would you love? Would you fear the below or pray for the above? Would you regret yesterday or enjoy the few tomorrows you have left? How supply and demand is not ironic when it comes to life. How time suddenly becomes more precious when you have less of it. But yet we wish away our lives doing things we don't really want to do, hours lost to conformity. See, if you've been blessed with more or less, then why aren't you doing more? Wasn't 2020 enough of a warning? Would you savor every last breath you had or hope for a savior to slow down your rate of breathing? Like a delay tactic for the inevitable. Isn't that what we're all doing anyways? Finding distractions, we go from one to the next, wanting more but doing less. Not counting blessings but feeling more stressed, striving for the status, the paper, the goals, kidding ourselves, doing the most. What was it for, that paycheck you lived for? Bigger houses and cars won't turn back the clock, and isn't it just that, biding our time on this planet until we leave for something better? See, soil's getting dry, but appetite's getting wetter. The greed, the selfishness, the me, me, me. Wouldn't the outcome be better if we started thinking as we? There are mass graves where bodies are forced to share space, and yet space on this land is why borders are drawn and wars are fought. Innocents killed and hatred talk. Territory, ownership, power and control. See, we're raping Mother Nature, taking from her what she was giving willingly, but just wanted to go a little bit slower. We were not a gentle lover. We just took what we wanted and rolled over. Selfishly went to sleep, stone cold sober, drunk in our own desires, and she has to suffer the hangover. Now the ocean's so full of her tears, we might end up drowning. Some spend all their time searching for love and yet spend the same years not loving themselves enough. The currency of time and what we do with it is the biggest question we will have to answer. So check the prognosis. It might have changed. In fact, it changes daily. We need more health checks for mental health. Real friends cannot be bought. Real loyalty cannot be sold. Is your aim to live or just to grow old? So remember, wash your hands, keep social distance and wear a mask. Hygienic, alone and suffocated. They certainly got us all on task. The new normal, and now everyone's moving mad like we all got duped into playing a worldwide game of Simon Says. Except Simon is Boris and Boris is Trump, but Trump's out now, so there's new rules to follow. Travel restrictions and 10 p.m. curfews, the rule of no more than 6 in a household. Scared to make eye contact, breathe or cough. Scanning temperatures and QR codes like that's the answer to immunity. But if I provide false information, does that give me impunity? That's if this virus even exists. I mean, wasn't it just a catalyst to reset the global economy? Universal currency, soon they'll have us buying tokens to breathe. If you didn't awaken to your reality in 2020, then it's time to retune your antennae. False news is 10 a penny. Learn to become a cognoscenti. Be aware with eyes fully open. 2020 is the calling card for the next dose of what's to come. Forced to make a choice of which side you want to exist in. Do you want to be happy or free? Because you can't have both. Extra, extra, read all about it. And that's that piece.
Speak on it.
Incredible.
Yes.
What?
Yes.
Again and again
Wow.
and again and again and again.
Incredible. Come on.
Yes.
Yes.
Wow.
I'll see it.
So sick. That's so good.
Neelofer.
You need to go to schools and tell that in assemblies, man.
Exactly.
Listen, anyone that works in schools, hit me. I'm ready. I'm ready to come in and educate them.
B, I'm here. Secondary, all the way. I'm here.
All the way. I'm telling you, let's make it happen.
Come to Slough.
Now, why did you have to drop that row and come to Slough? No one's coming Slough.
I'm all alone around here, man. Leave me out.
No, Neelofer, that was brilliant. That was, honestly, like, you have to tell us what inspired that piece. You hit so many different topics, so many different marks. Like, come on, speak to us.
Do you know what it is? When it comes to political stuff, I'm not a person that tweets these things. Like, whatever I'm thinking, I'm not there on Twitter giving my opinions, but I wanted to consolidate everything that I've been feeling, everything that's going on. I wanted to put it in one piece, because during the first lockdown, I wrote about lockdown. I wrote about being introspective about how it's affecting us all. And since time has gone on, we came out of lockdown. Now we're back into the second one. You know what? It's really important that we get everything into perspective, because we're living in a time where they're just selling fear like it's going out of fashion. You know what I mean? And we are being given that as our daily nutrition, and fear is not the one. We need to understand what is going on and the reasons why it's going on, and just keep that in perspective. Don't get me wrong, do what you need to do to be safe. But at the end of the day, stay woke, stay strong, and know what this whole situation is about. There's bigger agendas at play. And what better way than to say it through poetry?
That is so true. And I think a lot of our poems tonight touched upon political topics that people need to just be wary of, like, keep up to date with what's going on. Do you know what I mean? Because even though, yeah, you may think that it doesn't concern you, it concerns all of us. It really does. When they're talking about the kids, do you know what I mean? When they're talking about the people that they aren't able to help health-wise, things like that, it concerns all of us. And
yeah. 100%. The numbers, listen, the thing is, if you're one of these people, and I nearly fell into that trap myself, yeah, of having BBC News on 24/7, yeah, and all it does is breed anxiety, because really, when you look at it, when you really deep it, when you look at what's going on in the streets and around you, in your circles, in the people that you know, what they're telling you on the screens is not adding up. It doesn't match up, yeah? So this is why we need to encourage ourselves, yeah, and form habits, and also teach the younger ones, get alternative sources of news, because you see, you can start getting brainwashed and start to believe that fear is what's going to lead you. And that's how they get us. That's how you just conform without asking the questions. And I will always ask questions, no matter how controversial. That's our job. That's our job, to ask the questions.
And as I said in my poem, like, I keep telling a lot of people around me right now that this isn't my government, because the things that the government are doing right now, in terms of the people that need help, in terms of the decisions they're making for a whole nation, is not appropriate for us as people. So we need to govern ourselves. And I'm not saying, yeah, rebel against policies, but again, you need to just be woke. You need to maneuver in a way that's best for your family, that's best for you. Do you know what I mean? And know that they do not rule your mind. You live your own life, and as long as you're following the law, you're doing you.
That's
so
it.
Thank you so much for raising so much awareness tonight throughout all 4 of your poems. Like, it's brilliant. I'm so happy that you headlined tonight.
Thank you. It's been amazing. I've really enjoyed it. Thank you for having me.
And thank you so much to all the other poets that joined us tonight.
Yeah, thank you to everyone. The talent was immense. The talent was,
It
we
was.
blew the roof off. We blew the roof off. As always, BYOB brings the flavor, brings the vibes, blew the roof off. Like, come on.
Exactly. It's a shame that we couldn't do all of this live, but don't worry, we are working to come back as soon as possible. But thank you a lot for accommodating us during this time, okay?
Blessings.
Okay, cool. So have a great night, guys. We are now coming off live. I am Tannika Taylor, your host for the night, and thank you so much for watching. Take care.